So I want to talk about something personal today that I know everybody's going to be able to relate to. And apparently the universe is like screaming to have this message told today because I've seen a couple other people talking about it today. And I've been meaning to talk about it for a little while. I've talked about the fact that I had something to talk about for a little while, especially on Instagram. And I just had to wait until it was the right time for me to talk about it because of the personal things that are going on in my life right now. We change and grow as people all the time. If we're not, we're probably depressed or sad and don't realize it. And, we may not grow and change every day, but there may be a day a week, a day every week, or a day every month, or maybe even only one day a year where we have a big change. But we grow and change in little ways that we don't even realize pretty much every day. And sometimes people don't grow with us. And if you're like me, who improving myself is one of my favorite things. I am constantly trying to improve myself because I want to be the best me I can be, whatever that means. And I hold myself to a standard that not everybody can hold themselves to. And that's not some sort of boast. It's something that means a lot to me. I am always trying to be the best me I can be, and not everyone is trying to be the best them they can be. And I've decided that one of my non-negotiables is that I don't indulge or even spend time with those who aren't actively trying to improve who they are. And that's not to say that I think that we need to be super hard on ourselves. If anything, it's quite the opposite. If there's anything that I am about, it's being easy on ourselves in the sense that there is no such thing as right and wrong most of the time. There are a few universal wrongs, but those are very, very few. So the way I judge improving oneself is through how healthy and how happy someone is. How healthy and how happy I am. And I am constantly trying to make sure that I and those in my care, whether they be friends, family, or clients, they are working towards being the healthiest, happiest versions of themselves. So I don't have friends who aren't trying to be the happiest, healthy version of themselves because I can't watch it. It makes me too sad. So recently, I had to let a friend of mine go. And I've been emotionally distancing myself from this person more and more over the last 2 years while hoping that things could turn around, but they didn't. And not only did they not turn around, but recently they got worse and I had to let them go. And that's what I want to talk about today with you guys is sometimes based on whatever your non-negotiables are, you have to gracefully let someone go. And it's funny because I've always said this and people look at me like I'm some cold-hearted person. I'd say something worse than person, but not here. People look at me like I'm cold-hearted when I look at them and say, if I had to let that person go, I would be okay. Because I've had to let people go for many different reasons. And when I say had to let them go, I mean emotionally, because it's not always our choice. Like, for instance, I just talked about recently on Instagram how my best friend when I was younger, 13 years ago now, died. And she was my best friend in the whole wide world. We talked every day for the better part of 2 years and had known each other for much longer. Sometimes, whether it be because life ends or because someone is not meant to be in your life any longer, we have to let them go. Sometimes it's not even for your sake. Sometimes it's for their sake. And I've had to recognize this about myself. Despite my best intentions, for some reason, because I make people feel so comfortable showing themselves as who they 100% authentically are to me, that ends up, despite my best intentions, feeding their bad habits. And I had to recognize this, and I had to recognize that when I come across someone that is like that in my presence, I have to let them go, whether it's my choice or theirs. I am not willing to feed anyone's bad habits, even little ones, but especially the big ones. So after 4 years of living with my best friend, he moved out. And honestly, I don't know if that's going to be good for him or not. I'm kind of leaning on the side of not, but it's good for me because I couldn't continue to be a part of his life knowing that he wasn't willing to do what he needed to do to be happy and healthy especially. And I couldn't help him. And like I said, I don't know if I was really making it worse, but I wasn't making it any better. So something had to change. And I know that in the grand scheme of things, my life will be better because I let him go. Because it got to a point where it was no longer just affecting his life. He was no longer just affecting his life. He was affecting my life. I honestly haven't felt some of the feelings I felt in the last 5 months in years. And that was my sign that it was time to really start parting ways. I don't remember the last time I felt that bad. I don't remember the last time where I tried to go to bed and my thoughts were so pervasive, so intense, in a negative way, not a negative way, a bad way, that it was hard to go to sleep. I don't have people in my life that make me feel that way on purpose. So had he not chosen to leave on his own, I would have ended up having him leave. Because I don't let people affect me that way. It's not okay. So what I want everybody to take from this today is that for our own health and happiness, we have to have non-negotiables. Things we aren't willing to have in our lives that are a boundary that we always uphold. Again, for our own health and happiness, no matter who is doing them. And sometimes relationships change. Not just sometimes, relationships are always changing. And sometimes they change for the worse. And sometimes we have to accept that and let it go. And it does make me sad. Because I've loved him as a friend for many, many years now. And the way he's treating me now, it makes me think a lot of things, to be honest. One of those thoughts is, what did I do to deserve this? But that is a thought that I'm trying to train out of myself, because I know I didn't do anything to deserve this. And I know that he's not in his right mind. I know that whatever he's telling himself in his head that's convincing him that I ever could do something like lie to him or steal from him is in his head. It's all in his head. And here's the thing, and maybe I should just do a whole other video on this. I think I will, but I'm going to talk about it for a brief second here, and then I'll do another video on it. This would be a good video for itself. People project. How we are, we will assume other people are like that. Only the best of us can really remember most of the time that other people are not like we are. It's called solipsism. We have it as children, and we're supposed to grow out of it. Not everybody does. So he went from being a good person who wouldn't lie, who wouldn't steal. And as he spiraled downwards, he started lying, he started stealing, and so he started treating me like I would do the same. Even though somewhere deep down inside, he knows damn well the level of honesty that I carry with me. That's part of where the what did I do to deserve this comes in. Because I know that I didn't do anything to him to deserve it. I know karmically I didn't do anything to deserve it. But it's a thought we have. Again, that I'm trying to train myself out of, because I know. I don't know where that knee-jerk thought comes from. I know how honest I am. And part of that comes from the fact that I have spent intentional time on being more honest, because I wasn't always honest. But he never knew me as the dishonest version of me. He's only ever known me as the generous, honest, trustworthy version of me. So he has no reason to think otherwise. As well as where, for instance, my fiance knew me when I was a teenager, when I was a young adult, when I was dishonest. So him still having periods of time or moments of thought that would wonder, that's a valid concern. As we've spent more and more time together again since we got back together, it becomes less and less so. But we spent more time together before we broke up than we have now. So it takes time. And taking those kinds of things into consideration are important. But here's the thing. You don't deserve to be treated any other way than you actually are. So if someone's not treating you the way you deserve to be treated, and you know how you deserve to be treated. If you don't, I would highly recommend getting help. If you find yourself in life having people constantly contradict, many people, not just one person, many people constantly contradict how you feel and think. You don't deserve to be treated poorly. if you're not treating people poorly. And even then, if you're not treating people well, it's time to reevaluate why you're even spending time in relationships with people that you don't feel you can treat well. It's time to reevaluate those relationships and figure out why your life is the way it is. So, no matter how hard it is to let someone go, if they are breaking your boundaries, if they go against your non-negotiables, and you might not have well thought out boundaries or non-negotiables right now, it's time to start figuring out what they are, because that is how you keep yourself healthy and happy. And then when you find yourself in a position with anybody where they're breaking those, you know that's the time to get out. And again, it's going to be hard. It could be very, very hard. But you will feel relief when you leave. You will realize as you spend less and less time around them how much happier you are, how much healthier you are. And don't feel bad, because that's how it's supposed to be. Never feel bad for leaving someone behind if you have to. Because sometimes you just have to. And that's not to say that you shouldn't try to help people. Some people are unhelpable. And there's nothing we can do. And that's okay. Because we can't help everybody. Trust me. My point and purpose in life is quite literally to help people. Sometimes we can't help people. So, thank you guys for joining me for another video. I'm Ann Blackwood, your Silicon Valley Sage Sister, here to bring consciousness to the forefront of your daily life to make life a little kinder and simpler. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because I want my custom URL. Don't forget to check out all of the links in the description. Patreon, my mailing list, which I still haven't put out the mailing list for this month, but I'm going to make a point to do that tomorrow. So if you're watching this, you may still have time to get this month's email. I only do one email a month. And if you're ready to heal, grow, and expand, hit me up, because at this point, my one-on-one private practice door is open all the time. I am constantly taking in new clients. Originally, I was pacing myself, but I'm ready to take on more clients at a time, and I have to pay for this room now. So it's time for me to start helping more people. And I would love, love, love to help you. As I say, heal, grow, and expand, change, so that you can be happier and healthier. May the energy you serve you well, and let's keep making our way through.